guys. Welcome.
Welcome to the view. It's what it sounds like.
It's that awkward second episode we record.
I'm Whitney.
I'm Amy.
And we are on the Haunt.
There, we got it right.
Comedy podcast.
And I just interrupted you.
That's fine. We're professionals.
What do we want to open with here? We never know what to do. We talk about all of our stuff.
Well, let's see. Have you been reading anything good? I haven't really.
No.
I'm reading The Club right now, which is a Reese Witherspoon pick, but it's okay. It's not like phenomenal.
Yeah, we went to Barnes and Noble the other day, but I've still got enough of my summer reading list. Keaton got a bunch of books.
I bought Paul Hole's book, so I'm excited about that. Did you see about Jensen and Holes going off the air?
I feel like I heard that somewhere.
So I only recently started listening to it. It's actually pretty decent. I hate Billy Jensen, though, I've discovered. I don't like him. He creeps me out. I don't know why. And he just really mansplains.
He looks like a big adolescent boy.
Yes.
Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. He's much older than his face.
He's
it's
in
really
his
weird.
40s, I think. But he looks like a child. Well, and Paul Holes is such a man.
Paul Holes.
Hot for
Holes, for sure.
I mean, he's such a man, you know? He just makes Billy seem so stupid. Well, and there's, there
is that show, though, with Billy and then that really beautiful woman.
Yeah.
That, they try to solve cold cases or whatever they do.
Crime Junkies? No.
I can't remember.
Anyway, yeah.
Alexis, is that her name? Maybe?
Linkletter?
I don't know.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. Yeah. But they have a producer on the show, Polly, that kind of talks sometimes. And the way Billy Jensen talks to her, I'm just like, ugh, you're such an ass. But anyway, but
not cool.
I saw Exactly Right just posted something and was like, end of an era, they're going off the air. And all of their episodes are going off. They're deleting them August 1st. And everyone's like, what?
So they're pulling it on the Haunt?
They are, but not for our reasons, probably.
No.
So there is speculation that something happened with Billy, that he maybe sexually harassed someone.
Oh.
I know. Like, don't drag Paul into this, okay?
No kidding. Be careful who you hit your wagon to, man.
Yeah. Well, I do recommend the podcast, though. It's pretty interesting. Yeah. And, I mean, Paul Holes is just magical. But
he is.
Anyway, I can't wait to read his book.
It's okay, Paul. He's always like a, guest whatever on shows all the time.
And doesn't seem like his style to do this kind of thing. He's a legit detective. He actually solved crimes. Yeah. Billy Jensen.
Isn't he just like a journalist or something?
Yeah, but he has solved some crime. He's solved one crime, I think. He's like a citizen detective, like a body moving. If you haven't watched Don't F with Cats, you should. It's great.
It's amazing.
That's True Crime Corner.
It is. It's summertime here in Missouri. Mm-hmm. I mean, not by the calendar, but by the heat.
The heat. Yeah. What's the weather like where you are? You can't respond. Why do I ask questions?
And you don't care what our weather's like, but whatever. We're just trying to fill some time.
It's fine. I don't think no one cares about our
I think it's definitely fine because my story is 46 pages long.
So
I don't even know. I'm sure
I have a link in mine that I honestly don't even know how long.
None of mine's even Wikipedia, and it's 46 pages.
Mine isn't either. Oh, God, I hope we don't have the same topic.
No,
what
we
if
don't.
we did?
We don't.
Okay.
I forgot to. I haven't texted Chris my topic in 100 years.
Me neither.
We had a system. It failed.
We don't care about systems.
Even if we ever have the same topic, there'll be completely different information. Let's be honest.
That is true. I'm grabbing some chapstick.
Okay. My topic this week is The Curse of the Unlucky Mummy. I got this from my Cursed Objects book.
We definitely do not have the same. The Lucky Mum. So that's
Unlucky Mummy.
I was going to say, that doesn't make sense. Got it.
No.
Aren't all mummies unlucky?
You're a mummy, so therefore your luck ran out at some point. So my first source is nautil.us. I don't know. nautil.us.
Our sources are always legit.
Yes. This is an article by Rose Eveleth, posted in April 2014. And I don't know where this is going. Let's go. Come with me, folks.
I don't have a choice.
Word for word. These are Rose's words, not mine.
And just imagine Rose from the Golden Girls saying it.
Please.
Betty White. Did she die?
Yes.
Shoot.
Yeah, it was a sad moment in time.
I honestly forgot, so now I feel terrible.
I
Sorry,
mean,
Betty.
when Dolly Parton dies,
I won't
will
be able
have
to
to take a
live.
break from the life in general. I will somehow attend her service. Don't know how.
She will bust through the doors.
I can only imagine it will be held at Dollywood. I will be there.
Oh my God, Dolly. She's macho.
All right. So the Unlucky Mummy. I don't know if it has an actual name or if it's
We will
just
see.
referred to.
We'll see.
So sometime in the 1860s, 5 recent Oxford graduates took a trip to Egypt. Together, they sailed down the Nile.
Okay, wait. What? What year is this?
The 1860s. Sometime in the 1860s.
I like how they just are like, let's go ride a
We
canoe.
graduated from Oxford. Let's sail down the Nile.
Yeah, Oxford's in England, so
Yes,
they
they took a real trip.
wow.
So to
Okay.
remember their trip, they bought a souvenir in the mummy pits of Deir el-Bahri.
That's a what? Is that a gift shop?
the coffin lid of a priestess, Amun-Ra.
That's a very large souvenir. How'd they get it
I wonder
back?
if it's like the zoo. Like when you walk through the Penguin House, you have no choice but to go through the souvenir shop. There's no other exit.
And they're like, hey, you want this giant coffin lid?
yes, of Amun-Ra.
Are they sarcophaguses too? So it's like shaped
Probably
like a
it takes all of them to carry it. What a big souvenir.
what kind of
How are you going to check this with your baggage?
What kind of vehicle did they take to the
Well,
to
a
Egypt?
boat down the Nile.
Yeah, I know. Back to England. Wow. Okay, that's also very disrespectful.
It is for sure.
Yeah, whoever that guy
Is it a
was.
replica? It
Yeah.
says they bought a souvenir in the mummy pits.
Well, probably not if they get unlucky.
It was the coffin
curse
lid
from
of
it.
yeah.
Well, there's whoever
It was
this-
the 1800s.
Yeah,
They didn't.
They
know
didn't
any
care. Whoever
better.
this guy is just digging stuff up and selling it to
Yes,
people. Nice.
exactly. He has no rights to be doing that, but whatever.
Or a shame.
So, anyways, the high priests of the Amun-Ra, which are named after an Egyptian deity, were military rulers who commanded Egypt in the 21st dynasty. A time of turmoil and strife, it says. Weren't all times turmoil and strife back
I mean,
then?
honestly.
Or strife, not trife.
Or
Trife a bit tumultuous. I just like adding R's.
You really
when they don't belong.
do. Just R's everywhere.
So powerful and prone to keep secrets, the priesthood worked to appease the gods that Egypt had clearly angered. With her wide, baleful eyes, open palms, and outstretched fingers, the priestess on the coffin lid seemed to cast him in love.
So there's like a face.
Yes.
Okay, this is weird.
which
She's
is
like
kind
this.
of common though of coffins.
Well, yeah, but I thought
right?
they showed like who was inside. That's what I always thought.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The sarcophagus. Maybe a sarcophagus is not a coffin. Isn't the sarcophagus the anyway? The thing that goes in
the thing
mummy
that like
goes
shaped
in.
is shaped around
Like,
your body.
yeah.
Those are two different things.
So then that goes in the coffin.
Yes.
Oh, that's a lot of boxes.
That is so many boxes. It's like one of those little nesting dolls. Those
Russian
little-
nesting
yes,
dolls,
like that, kind of.
but Egyptian.
But Egyptian.
Egyptology
and with actual bodies.
is so cool, though.
It is.
I mean, what an interesting culture. Okay, so this woman's just like,
Ah,
yeah, but mad
don't be
apparently.
yeah, but asking the gods not to be angry anymore.
Please don't.
right? Yes.
Please stop.
My palms are up.
What more do you want? She said, I have nothing to give.
Yes, but
Maybe
my
make
empty
an
palms.
offering, lady.
Yeah. Put something in those palms.
Right. A couple coins?
Yes.
A berry?
What's it going to take to buy your happiness?
What do the gods want?
Yes.
Like, don't they have everything?
Yeah, there's
they-
nothing. They
do
want
they
nothing.
care?
They don't even want you
but they
on
want you
this-
to slaughter,
coffin
like,
lid.
sacrifice
Yes.
a goat. You know?
Yes.
Why do they care?
They don't.
Anyway.
So, anyways, on their way back to Egypt, 2 of the men died. So great.
Because they were carrying that thing the whole time. They're so tired.
Yes, they exhaustion. They died from exhaustion.
It was literally so heavy.
So then the third guy was like, well, too bad they died. I'm going on to Cairo.
No.
And he accidentally shot himself in the arm while quail hunting and had to have it amputated.
Oh my gosh.
And then another member of the group, Arthur Wheeler, managed to make it back to England only to lose his entire fortune gambling.
Well, that's not bad luck. That's just
That's
dumb.
just stupidity.
Yeah.
Quit playing the gin rummy. I don't know what he's
Gin rummy.
Blackjack, I mean.
You definitely lose all your fortune on
Or
gin
roulette.
rummy. Yeah.
I don't understand roulette at all. I have to pick a color and a number? This is too many
Do
rules.
you? I mean, I've
know.
never played on
Or they
this
always say like $40 on red 13. I don't know. I've been to
I think
Vegas
you probably
twice, but
make
I don't
more
know.
money if it's the more specific
The number. But maybe you win something if it's the color.
Yeah, or maybe if you just say like $2 on red, and then you only get back like 25%. I don't know.
I don't know
Do you
either.
know?
But anyways, Arthur moved to America and lost his new fortune to both blood and fire. Wait, what? I thought he already lost it to gambling.
He lost it again.
So then the coffin lid was placed under the care of Wheeler's sister.
She's like, I don't want
What
it.
a stupid thing. Why, Arthur? Why?
Why didn't he take it?
Yeah, I don't
Because she's
know.
still in England? Maybe
she was
didn't want
afraid
to
he was
take
going to
it.
pawn it, maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
So she attempted to have it photographed in 1887, but the photographer died, as did the porter. I don't know what the porter is.
Me neither.
The man asked to translate the hieroglyphs on the lid completed suicide. The coffin lid seemed almost certainly cursed, but this was only the beginning.
Yikes.
Today, the 5-foot-tall mummy board, as it's called, lives in the British Museum, where it's officially known as Artifact 22542.
Well, they have a lot of artifacts.
They do. The mummified priestess that may have lain beneath it has been lost to eternity.
Oh. Well, because they took the lid off.
But it has another, more commonly used name of Unlucky Mummy. Well, that's catchier than Artifact 22542.
But the mummy is not, that's not the mummy. The artifact is not the mummy.
True.
She's gone. They took the lid off and then she just disintegrated because you messed with her environment.
Yeah, you can't be taking stuff out of your vacuum sealed bag.
No.
That's not how that works. She's just dehydrated and poofed out into dust.
Probably just, sad.
So since its arrival in the museum in 1889, the unlucky mummy has been blamed for everything from the sinking of the Titanic to the escalation of World War I.
Well, that's just rude.
That is. You can't, but come on. Sometimes
was it on the Titanic?
I think, no.
If it was on the Titanic,
then I don't know. I haven't read this.
I'm just saying, if we get there and it was on the Titanic, then I can see it.
Okay.
But was it World War? I don't know how it would possibly cause. Okay.
So how this piece of wood became so intimately and persistently connected with death and destruction is a story of the endlessly swirling tales that people tell when they are afraid of change, of politics, of science. We get that too. We're living in that. It is the kind of story that never dies. It only feeds upon itself, updating and morphing and tightening its grip no matter how much light is thrown on it.
Rose is really getting rosy with her words.
By the time it arrived at the British Museum, its reputation had seeped through British private society. Not publicly, just the private society.
Private society.
The museum curators generally just scoffed at the curse. Men at soirees and dinner parties and ghost clubs. What
is that?
Traded stories of its powers.
Come join our ghost club on Facebook.
Please do. But it wasn't until 1904 that the broader public got a whiff of the curse.
What's
rude. That smell? That's just the unlucky mummy.
It's just, she can't smell like anything.
No,
I've seen a mummy. One came to the Science Center not that long ago. Yeah. And I'm also kind of like, that's really rude. That's a person.
Yeah,
that you're
I saw a mummy at an art museum.
Yeah,
once.
you're just dragging him across the United States.
Jeez.
That's a person under there.
Well, I mean...
Well, maybe. Who knows?
How do we learn, though?
That's true. I bring
literally... me all dead bodies.
I drove there and
we
paid
also
money.
went to the Body Works exhibit. So.
And they were willing participants.
And it was tastefully done.
Fascinating. We saw testicles and penises.
In jars.
Where they belong. Get in a jar.
Only come out when I say. All right. So anyways, the public got a whiff. And that was the year that a young, dashing, ambitious journalist named Bertram Fletcher Robinson published a front-page article in the Daily Express called A Priestess of Death about the allegedly haunted mummy. It is certain the Egyptians had powers which we in the 20th century may laugh at, yet can never understand.
We don't laugh at that.
No.
No.
3 years later, Robinson died.
Oh my gosh!
Suddenly of a fever, and his friends immediately thought of the mummy's curse.
Oh.
The very last time I saw him, he told me a wonderful tale about a mummy which had caused the death of everyone who had to do with it, wrote Archibald Marshall.
Archibald.
Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, the creator of Sherlock Holmes, recalled that he had cautioned Robinson not to get involved with the mummy. I
told you
against concerning himself with that mummy at the British Museum, he wrote, but he persisted and his death occurred. I told him he was tempting fate by pursuing his inquiries, but he was fascinated and would not desist. Doyle even went so far as to point out that should the mummy kill someone, fever would be the way she did it. The immediate cause of death was typhoid fever, he wrote, but that is the way in which the elementals guarding the mummy might act.
Oh, elementals.
Yes.
Guarding the mummy.
Robinson was not the only alleged victim. The list of stories about the mummy's influence began to grow longer. People who sketched the mummy having mysterious accidents, a lady falling down the stairs, a captain meeting financial ruin, a psychic claiming the mummy haunted him for weeks.
Wow.
There was a rumor that the mummy had been on the Titanic and caused the ship's deadly collision.
But how did it get back to land?
Did it get its own lifeboat? One person, the unsinkable, unlucky mama.
It's just...
Sorry.
Well, it is a lifeboat, really.
Yeah, it floated.
Floats. Just floats away.
Yeah, please don't take it.
That's what
Rose was actually on. Maybe there wasn't room for Jack after all. One person claimed the mummy at the peak of her wrath had been presented to the Kaiser and caused the outbreak of World War I.
What?
Okay.
They gave that to the Kaiser?
I don't know. Or she just...
Again, you're just like, hello, would you like this giant board?
Nobody wants
it.
Do
With
you
this
want
lady
it?
on it. Palms up.
War ensues. A
Right.
world war at that.
Right.
As it happens, the unlucky mummy arrived in England during the perfect curse-making storm. It was a time when science challenged traditional beliefs, experiments into the occult were becoming more common, and then tales of ghosts and threatening monsters were entering their golden age. The Victorians were afraid of a lot of things. Empires, justice, the rise of women in society.
Empires and justice? They're like, not justice.
No, or the rise of women in society.
Ew, women?
Knowledge, truth, and the role of expertise.
Wow.
They were afraid of all those things.
They really
this
were.
is true.
People still are.
Yes. And on top of that, there was a war going on.
Wow.
At the time, Britain was occupying Egypt and it invaded the Middle Eastern country in 1882, bombarding Alexandria for 10 and a half hours from the sea in an attack that was largely one-sided. The British didn't lose a single boat. The fires that followed...
Then just stop.
Yeah, quit. You're winning.
Gosh.
The end. The fires that followed destroyed much of the city, and 2 days later, the British Army entered Alexandria and took on Egyptian forces in a handful of skirmishes, the most notable being the Battle of Tel el-Kebir. Because the Egyptian land was flat and open, the British decided to attack at night. After an hour of fighting, the Egyptians fled. The British military stayed in Egypt in a variety of capacities until 1922.
Wow.
While the occupation of Egypt was a military success, it was met with trepidation back home. Should a European power intervene in the goings-on of a Middle Eastern country?
Well, that's a tale as old as time.
Yes.
England's always got their nose in things, and now we do too.
Yes.
Because we are their child.
We are. We have their noses, what can we say?
We're the baby girl. Love your baby girl. We are Sugarland.
Dear Mom and Dad, please send money.
Please. Dear Queen Elizabeth, please send money.
Oh, her platinum jubilee. She's so cute.
I love those kids too. It was so funny. Kate Middleton's like shushing them.
Yes. But,
oh, the Queen.
well, that was Meghan Markle shushing children.
Oh, I can't keep it straight.
She wasn't allowed on the balcony.
That's... Well, she ain't nobody.
No, she's not. You
Literally. And you asked to
said
not
I'm
be
done.
nobody.
I'm done?
Yeah.
Okay, you're done.
Kate's going to be a beautiful queen someday,
Yes.
though. Or whatever she is. And the queen
know.
and...
We gotta wait
whatever.
for Charles and Camilla to die.
Oh, Jesus. Camilla, you Tramp.
Hey, no, I think she's okay. I feel bad. I feel like Camilla gets a bad rep.
Well, yeah.
She was actually in the picture
Charles
before
is the one
Princess
that
Di.
sucks.
And I love Princess Di.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. She was English's Rose. Or England's Rose. Rose of all the English.
She was the English language's Rose.
Yeah, whatever.
I don't know why that's so funny. Because she did a hand gesture. England's Rose. I really don't get the monarchy.
I don't either. What do they do?
I know, and when you watch The Crown, I'm like, why is the Queen going to, like,
Well,
Australia?
I think a lot of people do think, too, though, well, because she's their queen, too.
I know, but I'm like, that's so stupid.
Isn't she the queen of, like, 32 countries or
I know,
something?
and it's like, but why? They're all independent.
Well, a lot of people think, though, when she dies, it's kind of going to be the end of the monarchy.
Yeah.
They think a lot of people just have a ton of respect for her because she's been doing it for 70 freaking years. And they're like, well, we can't. She's a little old lady now. We can't, like,
Yeah, but she wasn't always.
dethrone her.
I know, but the monarchy, I feel like, is
Well, I know, but I feel like back in the day when she became queen, like, the monarchy was still, like...
Did they do anything to help people? You know what I mean?
I mean, they do a lot of charity, but
Yeah, but I
not-
just wonder,
I
like-
just don't get their purpose.
I know, and her, like, again, in The Crown, her whole tour through Africa, I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah.
All of this is so, like...
So we'll see what happens.
Hello, look at me!
I think when she dies, it'll...
Do you like my dress?
I know nothing. I
know.
just act like I'm an expert, but I feel like it will be the fall of the
Oh,
monarchy.
you're wearing those old Reeboks that we sent here 15 years
Yes.
Sorry, I just...
How are they holding up?
Those are last seasons. I don't know. I just
don't either.
feel like they're sending old clothes.
Yeah.
Sorry, I moved my chair and now I'm like I moved my chair down and now I'm a tiny person
Yeah.
at this table. But
So anyways, the British were there.
so, anyways,
And they...
I think I left my phone.
People
in the
did
car.
not like them occupying
No, my
Egypt.
phone's right here.
So they turned to objects that represented the country in question, Egyptian artifacts.
I am fascinated with Egyptian things, though. You know, it is.
Roger Luckhurst, a professor of literature at Birkbeck College.
We're talking in.
Well, it's from the University of London. Said,
Yes.
You can't talk about how difficult it is to occupy another country because that's unpatriotic.
Wait, no, yes, you
You
can.
can talk about it.
What is?
This is a narrative that lets you talk about it in another way. The idea that objects from Egypt, like the mummy board, would exact revenge was a way to express anxiety without actually talking about war. Okay, so we're beating around the bush, basically. We're just saying
Yes.
you were bad for doing that, but we can't say you're bad, so we're going to say that there's a curse from a mummy board
Right.
because that's more feasible than humans being terrible people.
Right. Well.
As wartime fears ran through much of England, science began to take people further down rabbit holes of knowledge. How dare you, science?
Rabbit holes of knowledge.
Causing them to worry about just how far scientists would go to uncover the truth. When scientists went into tombs to gather relics, they weren't just moving rocks, they were moving sacred ways of thinking. There are incentives to disturbing the dead, and archaeology is one of them, says Kathleen M. Cooney, an Egyptologist at the University of California in Los Angeles. The archaeological incentive, however, was also uncovering guilt. In the 1899 novel Pharaohs the Egyptian by Guy Boothby, Pharaohs asked the son of a famous Egyptologist, and pray, by what right did your father rifle the dead man's tomb? Perhaps he will continue, or he continues, you will show me his justification for carrying away the body from the country in which it had been laid to rest and conveying it to England and to be stared at in the light of curiosity.
I mean,
He has a point.
he has a point.
He could have just as easily been talking about the priestess of Amun-Ra. Here you've got a mummy board that's depicting a human female, and that mummy board was meant to be kept in an intact tomb, Cooney says. And it's not. It's floating around the world, bought and sold, now it's on display. It's separated from its mummy. Mm-hmm. It's been wrestled from everything it's been a part of. That upsets people, and it worries people.
Mm-hmm. And the mummy is lidless.
Yes. It wasn't just, I mean, think about how frustrating you get when you can't find the lid to a piece of your Tupperware. So now take that times at least 1 million. It's frustrating.
You're like, where's my lid?
Where's my lid?
That
It's
poor
useless
mummy.
without the lid. Now we can't
No.
even use this for anything.
But she's still in there.
She is.
Where is she?
I don't know.
She in a pyramid?
Is she in a tomb?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I don't know if that's right or wrong, though, to be like digging up tombs, but how cool would that be to be like, oh my gosh, here we go.
I mean, dig it up, learn what you need to, and then put it back.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, leave the stuff in there.
Yeah.
Don't take out any of those red jewels because they will turn to crab things that will, like, kill you.
For sure.
Because I've watched The Mummy.
Yes.
The last one with Tom Cruise
all kill you.
was so bad. Don't watch it.
But it's okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't just the realm of stories that the British were venting their fears. This was also the era that gave birth to tabloid journalism.
Thank you, God.
Except for the case of Princess Diana.
Yeah, oh, true.
Newspapers,
and Britney Spears.
And that. Fan the flames of anxiety and reinforce them, building a base for more tales of monsters and mummies. In the late 1890s, the Daily Mail took flight.
The Daily Mail?
Joined by the Daily Express.
Anything daily.
Everything's daily.
It's a lot of work to put out a newspaper daily.
It really is. It published the original Unlucky Mummy story, A Priestess of Death. The Morning Star, The Daily Sketch, and others.
The Daily Sketch, that's funny.
Dedicated to selling papers with bold headlines and little regard for the facts. Well, that happens today.
That's true.
Philosopher
happens on this podcast.
No. R.G. Collingswood wrote that tabloids were places where the reader was expected to think of the news not as the situation in which he was to act, but as a mere spectacle for idle moments. The Unlucky Mummy was too big of a spectacle to remain fodder for just England's tabloids. A 1909 headline in William Randolph Hearst's San Francisco Examiner exclaimed, "Ghost of Mummy haunts the British Museum. Must go now. For 30 years, dead Egyptian priestess has spelled disaster."
Because it's still really there, right? Headline. That's I know. I like lost you halfway through.
I guess I don't
so
even
that's
know.
But it's still in that museum, right? So is the museum haunted?
Well, let me skip down here. Maybe it says today the British Museum has little to say about the Unlucky Mummy.
Interesting, because everyone's dead and no one works there anymore.
The artifact page for the Mummy Board has a brief note hidden in the curator's comments. It recounts a few of the most notable myths, including that the mummy was on board the Titanic, and adds, needless to say, there is no truth to any of this. The object had never left the museum until it went to a temporary exhibition in 1990. So they feel like they have to address the myths.
But it's also like, is anything happening with you all?
So he says the myths, though, tell us a lot about how people react and respond and interact with these artifacts. We're always going to feel ambiguous and vaguely transgressive about these sorts of things. Indeed, mummy stories still walk among us. In 2013, a headline in England's Manchester Evening News said, "The curse of the spinning statue at Manchester Museum."
Spinning statue? How does that work? Wow.
It's just on like a thing, like, what are those where you cut the meat that spins?
What is that? Why is that where you're bringing? I go to the spinning ballerina in a jewelry box, and you go to spinning meat.
I'm hungry.
It also makes me wonder, though, how much of all of this curse and like us is based in racism and not understanding their culture. True. You know, because we're like, oh, that's weird. They bury their dead like that. Weird.
Oh well, this is why it spins.
Oh, thank you.
It's about a 10-inch tall statue of a man. It's very small. Found in an Egyptian mummy tomb that mysteriously spun in its display case.
Oh, what?
So it was just like, it was the twirling ballerina, but it wasn't on anything that should have been making it twirl.
But it's like, that's interesting. I wonder if it twirled like while people were watching, or like you come the next day and it's facing a different direction.
Well, it says in ancient Egypt, they believe that if the mummy is destroyed, then the statuette can act as an alternative vessel for the spirit.
So the
Maybe
spirit can
that's
go
what's
in.
causing the movement.
How sad. Now she's like, well, you guys screwed this up, so now I'm in this tiny 10-inch. Huh.
So anyways, somebody was like, blah, blah. I'd advise the museum to sell T-shirts about the mummy, then take the proceeds and pour them into other science education programs that are more likely to succeed. You can bury people's superstitions under a mountain of evidence, Gervais says.
Ricky Gervais.
Have you watched Afterlife?
No.
So good.
Oh, wait. What is it?
Afterlife.
Tell me about it.
It's Ricky Gervais.
Okay,
He's a widower. So good.
Okay,
You laugh, you cry.
Oh.
It's great.
I like Ricky Gervais.
So whatever.
Is he problematic? I hope not. I don't know.
think so. I mean, he tells
a
the
comedian.
truth sometimes and it ticks people off.
Well, comedians
I
are,
don't think he's problematic at this
Well,
point.
that's interesting.
So I'm going to stop there. I'm only on page 14 of 46, but I'm sure the whole other article's about it as well.
Well, thank you, Amy.
You're welcome.
I love anything Egyptian.
My book of cursed objects has not failed me yet.
It came to you. I made a note that our title could be something about Rose being on the mummy board because it's so funny to think about. Oh, Lordy. Okay, well, thanks, Amy.
You're welcome.
I'm going to be talking today about glitches in the Matrix.
Oh.
I know. I forget. Something made me think of this week, and I don't even remember what it was.
Discovery Plus.
Yeah, maybe.
Blinking.
Probably.
Glitching on you.
So, I mean, me and you know what a glitch in the Matrix is. I have literally no sources. I think this is from Thought Catalog, and then a lot of it are actual stories of people's experiences that are from Reddit, obviously. So what is a glitch in the Matrix? It's an event that can only really make sense if we accept the notion that our current reality is actually a kind of simulation.
Got it.
I'm not sure if that... I mean, I always think a glitch in the Matrix, too, is having something to do with parallel universes also. Yeah. But this is thinking that this is literally a simulation and there's someone, like, behind the scenes working the... Controls, yeah.
Okay.
When, like...
Can you make me a little more exciting and, like, leave my house more often? This is ridiculous.
Well, they have a lot of people to keep track of also.
Well, they're doing a crap job.
Yeah,
with me.
yeah.
Just saying.
So they often seem... Okay, so some common types of glitches in the Matrix are objects vanishing and sometimes reappearing. Sometimes they are never seen again. Sometimes they reappear in the same location, which had been previously searched. Sometimes they appear in broad daylight in a position where they could have easily been seen before. Sometimes they reappear in physically impossible locations, such as a locked room or container. Okay, so like you
everything I'm ever looking for.
I know,
basically.
But you lose your glasses, and then they're like in a safe where you're like, well, I didn't put that there ever. Yeah. Like maybe the other me did in that other alternate reality. Another type of glitch are people being seen by different witnesses at different locations at the same time, or not being seen in places where they should be. They didn't go to work. People vanishing, often for considerable time, but then with multiple searches and then reappearing and claiming that they never left.
Ew. I ain't going. What are you talking about? Maybe they're just having an affair.
This one's creepy. People seeing themselves.
Oh, I would not like that.
No, you're like, that's me. And then the other me is like, that's me.
Would I recognize me, though?
I don't know. That's a good question. Because you never see your own self that often. Weird.
Except every day when you look in the mirror.
I know, but not as much as like,
but I don't know that I would. Like, I feel like I would recognize you.
Yes.
Easier than I would recognize myself.
Because I don't know what my own gait looks like.
Right.
Or I bet like if you're a movie star and you watch yourself on TV or something, but like, what do I look like when I walk? I don't know. You know what I mean?
No. I probably look stupid.
Same. You're like,
especially since my second treatment to have my warts frozen on the bottom of my foot. Plantar's warts suck, yo. So difficult to remove.
You're like, take off your shoe. Show me your warts. Yeah. To the other you.
We're Birkenstocks.
Don't touch me with those warty feet.
Here, spread it. Yeah.
She touched her.
I'm not even wearing socks today. Chris and Mandy are going to like...
Are you wearing socks?
No, I wear Birkenstocks.
We are touching our bare feet to each other underneath this card table. They're so gross.
I went to get that the other day and I was just like, I said it was kind of scabby and I like pulled on it and I'm like, and it bled I had like a trail of blood through my house the other day because I was like, she told me to try to like get it off.
Oh, to peel it.
Yeah, because she takes like she calls it a scalpel. I call it a razor blade and just like cuts everything off before. And then it's like open wound and then she sprays the nitrous on
So is this a dermatologist or a podiatrist?
Dermatologist.
Man. They don't get paid enough for the gross stuff they do. You know what I mean?
Listen. I can't imagine my plantar wart is the grossest thing.
That's what I mean. Just all the gross. Well, I've been having to go to the podiatrist because I broke my bone in my foot. And man, right under where like you sit in this chair, but right here, she has her whatever she uses to cut people's toenails. And I'm like, oh. It's like
God, who has to do? God, please don't ever. If I ever get in that shape, just
Let me tell you right now, my
end it for
great
me.
grandma, her toenails were like 5 inches thick. Maybe
Why
that's
do they get like
maybe
that?
maybe that's an exaggeration. 1
really
inch thick. 1 inch thick, though. Think about that. And I had to go once as a child with my grandma to take her to the podiatrist to get her feet shaved, her toenails shaved. I'm like, that is torture.
Does that happen?
Oh, yeah.
When you get old?
Well, not to everyone, but to people in my family,
What
it does.
prevents that? What can I start doing now to make that not-
Keep them neat.
Just going from regular pedicures?
Keep them neat and trimmed, you know?
Well, I do.
Yeah, I mean, you're fine. Your nails are always, like, even your fingernails always, me too, like, trimmed short. I'm not about,
No.
Yeah.
I have to keep my toenails trimmed or else I get ingrown toenails.
well, also, I cannot handle if my toenails are scratching.
Are you vomiting yet, listeners?
If my toenails are scratching my blankets at night.
Yeah, if your sheet gets caught on it, oh God.
You know what's the thing grosses me out the most, too, is people who get French manicures on their toes.
Yeah,
I'm like,
what are you doing? Stop. It's so gross.
yeah, just, like, paint them a solid color.
Yeah. There should be no excess nail hanging over on your toes.
No. You should be able to see the end of your pad of your foot.
Yes.
Your toe at the end.
Even it may even need to be a little too short.
Yeah.
You can see the underneath.
You're bleeding slightly.
Yes. That's
got to
great.
the quick.
I do that with mine.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, oops. Well, it'll grow
My
back.
kids, too, I'm always just like, they cannot have long toenails or fingernails.
Carter's
Yeah.
toenails don't grow.
Excuse me, what?
His toenails do not grow.
So how long are they? Just not at all?
They look like they're groomed
all the time.
all the time.
That's interesting.
Isn't that weird?
What's he got?
I don't know. I should probably take him to be evaluated.
I mean, like, or he could sell that. Like, he's
Bottle that up.
yeah,
son.
whatever part of his genome. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
fascinating.
Yeah, he's the
People
only
would
one-
pay for
He's
that.
the only one of my kids that doesn't ever have to trim his toenails, and I'm always like,
Maybe
Carter,
he's
and I
like-
look, and he's like, no, Mom, they just
Maybe
they
he's
don't
chewing
grow."
them off at night.
That's weird.
People do
Who
that.
knows? Maybe.
Anyway,
I
calling
never
out
find
Carter.
them. I would think he would spit them if he did. I always just trim mine over the toilet. And
Yeah,
flush them.
same. or I put them in the toilet. Kyle's like, "Why are you doing it?" I'm like, "What does it matter?" Anyway.
Okay, sorry. Okay, glitch in the that was a glitch in the matrix right there. We just
talked
wanted to give you an example
about our toenails for
my
5
plantar warts.
minutes. No wonder.
No one
listens to this. Why would you? We're sorry.
I wouldn't. I don't blame you.
Oh my god, join our discussion group on Facebook. Oh my god. Okay, a couple more examples. Changes in everyday familiar objects, like you coming home and your front door's a different color. The length of a piece of cloth. What?
I think you say your pizza.
Length of your pizza.
Pizza, but it's a diameter. It's the length. Remember when Pizza Hut used to sell that Bigfoot pizza, though? That was a big rectangular thing. That was delicious.
The length of your pizza. It's your freaking pizza. The length of your pizza. Jesus. The presence of mature trees in a place where trees have never existed. Is there a place where trees have never existed? Oh my god.
The desert.
Time slips and time freezes where people interact with different time periods. Oh my god.
It's like Outlander.
That's horrifying. You're like, is that a dinosaur? Okay. Oh, this is funny.
Do you watch Outlander?
No.
Oh.
I should, I guess.
I'm only on like season 2.
What's it on? HBO Max?
Netflix.
Netflix.
No, it's on like I don't know, like TNT or TBS or something, but I watch it on Netflix.
This is really funny. Obviously, some reports may be the result of memory errors or the effects of drugs or carbon monoxide poisoning.
Great. They make detectors for that.
They do. Okay, if you're not on the Glitch in the Matrix subreddit, go get on. Subscribe today. Join. I forget if it's join or subscribe. Whatever. It's fascinating. So here's some examples from that subreddit. I have so many examples. So I'll just, stop me whenever. This one's titled... Well, I don't know if I want to tell you what it's titled. Moving on, I'm just going to read it to you. Every night I go to bed about 2 hours before my husband. Same. Sometimes 3
or 4. Actually, he's been working nights, so it's like 12 hours before.
And then you just fart and fart, as we know.
Yes, it's fantastic.
Just release all the farts you've been pinting up all day. Okay. I always wake up when he comes into the room. Amy does too. She hides and pretends like she doesn't hear him say, Jesus Christ.
What's that smell?
I love now we're rehashing our old jokes. We're so stupid. One night he was gaming with a friend, and it was hours later that I heard him sneak into the room and crawl.
Why is he sneaking?
Because it's not him. Listen, I'm not. Was he having? Oh, God. One night he was gaming with a friend, and it was hours later I heard him sneak into the room and crawl across the floor so he could pop up and scare me. That's just mean. I felt the floor kind of shake and felt him bump clumsily against the side of the bed in the dark. He zagged bacon.
Is he drunk?
Maybe. I held up my hand and asked him not to scare me. I was already scared enough, and I begged him to just take my hand and come to bed. What? I couldn't see anything in the room, but knew he was there and just waited for him to jump up so I could move on and go back to sleep. Sounds like us. That's when I heard him talking to his friend in the other room.
Ew.
I was frozen. I know there's sleep paralysis or lucid dreaming or something that explains this, but I could have sworn on my son's life that someone had crawled across the floor and jostled the bed. Eventually, I worked up the fear enough to grab my phone and text my husband to come in and turn on the lights.
Ew.
Okay, that's from user McKay of Spades. I don't like anything crawling on the floor. That's not right.
That's not a glitch in the Matrix.
I don't know
That's a demon.
I know. Well, I just posted something in our discussion group.
I guess maybe because she thought it was her husband that...
But I mean, that's just you thinking.
Yeah.
So that's not a glitch in the Matrix. Sorry, everyone. But if you go on our discussion group, I just posted a TikTok video of a lady. Did you see that? Mm-hmm. And I see the thing crawling. It could be a pet though behind her, but it is creepy. I mean, I wouldn't want to go in there. No. Take your baby and go away.
Like I did that time. Keaton was in the corner screaming.
Yes.
Everybody to the minivan.
Yeah.
We out.
We are leaving. Okay. I was on vacation in Florida. No, in Florida, visiting a friend. We were walking on the beach on a perfectly sunny day when everything went black for a second. I think it was weird, but explained it away, thinking that my eyes were playing tricks on me until my friend looked at me and said, "Did everything just go black for a second?" Weird.
Although storms do kind of pop up out of nowhere in Florida.
No, it's like click. It would be like lights off, lights on.
Oh, like nighttime dark.
Like, yeah, like the whole thing.
I thought you meant just like the sun went away.
Well, I mean, maybe it was that. But this,
that is crazy how that happens in Florida, though.
Yeah. A glitch in the Matrix, though, like what they're saying, I think, is that it was like daylight and then suddenly pitch black and then daylight again.
Okay, gotcha.
As if like the electric went off in the... Yeah, like in the Matrix.
Yeah, we accidentally walked through like a time warp.
Yeah, or like if this is a simulation, maybe it turned off for a second. They're like, oh crap! Turn it back on. They're gonna notice. But we don't. We just say, did it go black? Moving on.
This is very Black Mirror.
Yeah. About 2 years ago, I went to collect my husband from the ferry after work.
Whoa, what a task.
I know. People have so many different types of lives, don't they?
Why did you have to collect him? Can't you just drive your car on the ferry?
Right.
Is he not? Maybe they were a one vehicle family.
My husband got into the car, and as I was driving very slowly out of the car park, we noticed two people standing a few meters away in front of our car. It looked as though they were strangers, older-looking professionals, both walking to their separate cars in different areas of the car park. The man was reaching into his side bag, and the lady was further ahead than the man with her head turned to the right. I know the exact positions they were in because they were completely frozen on the spot. My husband and I sat there watching the frozen strangers, not saying anything to each other, and then all of a sudden, it was like someone pressed play, and the two strangers just continued on like nothing had happened. My husband and I promised to each other that we would never forget how weird that was.
Huh.
That's really weird.
Yeah.
Like they pressed pause and then they pressed play. Okay, creepy. In October 2018, I developed tendinitis in my hand. Man, what a bummer.
Ouch.
I went to see a hand specialist at the hospital. This is starting off so mundane. I remember the hand specialist really clearly. She was a really happy, talkative Vietnamese woman with straight, dark brown hair and glasses. She had a German-sounding last name, which I assumed was her married name. Well, how do you know that?
Yeah, you don't know.
Get off her. Get off her, I said. I don't know why. It's rude. She was.
I love how people think that, like, other, like, ethnicities can't be born in
America.
Any other country. Yeah, it's so weird.
Yes, just because she looks Asian does not mean she was born in an Asian country.
No.
I mean, who the hell knows? Leave her alone. She was really, really nice, and we had a long conversation about a medical conference that she goes to. She explained that my hand issues, caused by phone usage, oh my gosh, were the hot topic of the conference, and that she'd probably use my injury as an example when she goes there.
Great.
Well, this freak needs to get off of her phone.
You know, when the doctor's like, I'm going to use you as patient 0.
Right.
And
everyone no one can use their thumbs anymore. Suddenly we evolve away from having thumbs because we can't use them. Anyway, she gave me care instructions and sent me home, blah, blah, blah. So the lady goes back because it wasn't getting better. I had an appointment with the same doctor, but the woman who came into the room was completely different. Weird.
Ooh.
She was a white woman with light brown hair, no glasses, completely different face shape, really dull and unwelcoming. I was so confused. I asked her name, and she gave me the same name the Asian doctor had. I asked if there was another doctor by that name, and she told me no, only her. I described the doctor I've seen, and she got annoyed and said she didn't know what I was talking about. I went online later to the staff directory trying to find the Asian doctor, and I couldn't. I have no idea what happened to her. I even checked my medical records to see if I maybe remembered her name incorrectly, but I hadn't.
Ooh,
What?
That's weird.
Glitch in the Matrix.
Yeah. Massive glitch.
Yep. 1985.
Oh, what a time.
What a time. I wasn't alive yet.
I was.
2 years prior. My ex-wife and I were sleeping. There was a small sliver of light coming in through the window from a street lamp. So the room and bed were dimly visible. Our black Pomeranian was at the end of the bed asleep. I dreamt that I woke up, reached down to pet him, and he turned into a glossy black oyster thing.
Ew. First of all.
Wait, an oyster's just a shell, like a clam shell,
Well,
right?
I was thinking of like the
gooey
the
thing
actual
inside.
oyster inside.
I mean,
Gross.
what does that even look like, honestly, out of its shell? Does it come out ever? The oyster?
I'm assuming like my dad used to eat oysters.
Well, right, but do they ever
They're
come out of their
slimy.
shell in the ocean and like crawl around?
Oh, I don't know.
You know? Like how
Yeah.
crabs can detach from the shell?
No. Well, I don't know, but I don't feel like their shell is like hinged. Like once it's open, it's open. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So,
What do they eat or do in there?
like, we're so stupid. We know nothing.
Like nothing can
That's so boring.
Maybe it opens like in the water, but once
Maybe.
they're out, it's really hard to open them.
Yeah, I know.
Poor oysters.
Oysters.
They have no life.
Well, they stink when they're cooked. My
I
dad used
hate
to eat them all the
oysters.
time, and you just like, he just swallow it whole.
Gross. It's
Disgusting.
It's really nasty. Okay,
What's even worse than oysters? Mountain oysters.
What is that?
You know what mountain oysters
Oh yeah.
are?
Why?
I don't understand.
There are plenty of other things to eat.
There really are.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like maybe that just comes from the generation of like, don't
Maybe.
waste stuff though. My
Yeah.
grandparents used to
Yeah.
eat jowl. They would like go to
yeah,
the
my
butcher
grandma
shop
would
and
too.
order jowl. I'm
As
like,
if it's
you
bacon.
don't have to eat that.
Right, and it's not like bacon.
No.
No, my grandma used to make that for me as a kid. Actually, it's really nasty to think about.
Okay.
Okay, so this
moving on.
Pomeranian turned into an
Yes.
oyster.
Pomeranian's slimy.
Oh, God. He turned into a glassy, black oyster thing that opened up to reveal rows of gleaming glass teeth. This is Stranger Things right here. I woke up to my ex backpedaling up the bed over the windows toward the wall.
Ah!
And I asked, what's wrong? And she said, what is that shiny black clam thing with the teeth at the end of the bed? Where's the dog?
Well, she was very descriptive.
What is that black shiny?
What the
I would be like, what the hell is that? Clam thing. Well,
Where's
that's
my dog?
creepy. Okay, weird. Okay, this is interesting. A total of 3 times in my life, I have had memories of seeing movies or movie trailers that hadn't been made yet. It's not a feeling of deja vu. It's a clear, vivid memory of seeing the movie before.
Oh.
Weird. I don't like
Everything's a spoiler. That'd be a bummer. How do you enjoy your trip to the theater?
that. Okay, this one's titled A Creepy General Tso's Story.
I love General Tso's.
So good. It's so good. Me and my friend were at the Chinese restaurant, and we ordered a General Tso chicken dinner and shrimp lo mein dish. When we sat down, we took out both boxes and set them on the table about 2 feet apart. My friend opened the first dish, and we see a shrimp lo mein dish. It has all the things in there. Noodles, shrimp, fried rice. He closes the box and opens the other box. Inside that box is another shrimp lo mein. So I think they must have just mixed up the order. I was about to say this when my friend says out loud, "Looks like they made a mistake," and gave us 2 as he opens up the first box again, and inside it was General Tso's. He froze and looked at me, and I looked back at him, and we sat in silence. No idea what happened.
That's weird.
What
a weird thing to have a glitch in. Right?
Right.
Your Chinese
But
food
I
order.
guess if you're, if everything's a simulation. Okay, this one is weird to me. I spilled chocolate ice cream on my leg.
Were you in Whitney's car?
Were you my granny? I wiped it off, and there was still a pale brown stain in the shape of the ice cream splotch. I told my mom, who said it was a birthmark. I will swear under oath that I have never had that birthmark there before that moment.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's not even like a glitch. That's just like history changing itself.
Bizarre. Okay, these are getting weirder and weirder as we go. I have 100 if I don't have to read them all, obviously. I was on a road trip with family once. We stayed at a hotel for a night. Our room was nothing more than 2 beds and a bedroom. Our room was nothing more than 2 beds and a restroom with a big-ass mirror on across from the beds.
Okay. Oh, creepy.
You know why that's there, Amy?
Not very family friendly.
No. Everyone went to sleep but me. I stayed up playing a mobile game I was addicted to at the time. At about 2 a.m., I went to sleep. When I woke up, I noticed something was just ever so slightly off. The mirror was gone. The room had 2 separate bedrooms, and there were 3 beds. Apparently, I was the only one who noticed it because my family called me crazy.
Wow.
Okay.
Furniture changing up on you.
Oh my God. I was putting makeup on, and from the corner of my eye, I saw what looked like the shadow of a hand slapped down on my nightstand.
Dang it! It's too much rouge.
It's Thing from the Addams Family. Would have dismissed it as my brain playing tricks on me or something, but I heard it too, and it sounded like a really loud smack. It was weird, but I've experienced so many small, unusual incidents like this. Things randomly falling or shaking, so I guess I've become apathetic to it. It was the first time I ever actually heard it, though. What the heck? You on bath salts? You're on bath salts.
So what I would consider a glitch in the Matrix either. These are just like...
No. This is so great.
These are some sort of an infestation.
Bizarre. I went to camp when I was around 12. Took one of those disposable film cameras with me.
Oh, yeah.
Cell phones were still in flip phone phase. Can't talk. We took a picture of 2 people I made friends with there. One of them disappears in the photo twice in 2 different poses entirely. Wait, what? One of them disappears. One of them.
They're just not in the photo.
One of them appears in the photo twice in 2 different poses. So one of the people is in the photo 2 times. So there's 3 people in the photo.
Oh,
but
so
they look different. So it's not like a double
weird.
exposure. I don't know how film works, though.
I don't either.
So, I mean, who knows? Maybe there was. Okay. Here we go. This one sounds maybe like a glitch in the Matrix, actually. When I was a teenager, I was in my room, and I decided to go to the kitchen to make a sandwich. I looked at the clock before I left. 6:48 p.m. Went to the kitchen, made an awesome sandwich, got some chips and a drink.
Oh, you know what I've been craving lately? A bologna sandwich.
I love
Doesn't that sound
bologna.
good? I haven't had it in years.
Me neither. I never buy it, but I love bologna. Oh,
We
my
should
God.
go to Kroger. We leave here buy all the fixings
But I only
for
want the bologna
sandwich.
that you have to peel that red wrapper off.
Yeah, you gotta get it from the deli.
Yeah, so good. This probably took me at least 10 minutes. Serious sandwich. When I walked back into my room, the clock still said 6:48 p.m. I stood there, really confused. Then it turned to 6:49.
Ooh.
Time
Maybe
stood
your
still.
clock was just broken.
Yeah. Let's see here. I answered a phone call that the other person never actually experienced. They just don't. Oh, that's the same birthmark one. I'm like, why is that on here again? Okay. That seems silly. Sometimes I swear that lights flicker in whatever room I'm in. It's like someone turned all the present lights off simultaneously. I even asked those around me, did you see the lights turn off? I don't recall blinking any time this has happened either. Well, who knows when they blink? Who's aware of that?
I get confused when I blink that the lights are flickering either.
I've actually experienced that before, though. Like feeling like everything got dark for a second, like real quick. But I always assume I just blinked and like was aware of my blink. Well, now I'm thinking.
I know what blinking is, so I've never been confused by thinking everything went dark.
Whoa! What just happened there? Whitney, you just blinked for 3 seconds. Oh my God, who thinks about blinking? It's funny. So this person says they had a conversation with, okay, sometimes I'll be talking to someone I've never met and very specific facts about them will pop into my consciousness. You're psychic, okay?
Yeah.
This person, like this person had a golden retriever that died in 2009. And then I'll bring up the fact and they'll be like, yeah, that happened.
Yeah, you're psychic.
That's just being psychic. That's not a glitch in the Matrix. Let's see, that one's... Some of these are so stupid. You know, it's like, why would... But I guess if it's a glitch in the Matrix, they don't care if it's, like, interesting or not. It's an accident.
Yeah.
Okay. When I was about 9, I was eating dinner in my room for some reason. You were probably in trouble. I was sat at the dresser. That doesn't make sense. I sat at the dresser that had a big mirror, and my dad came in to check on me. He asked me if I wanted some more tea. Would you like some more tea?
Apparently you're not in trouble. Your dad's, like, playing waiter.
Right. To which I said yes, and I handed him my cup. I watched him walk out and close the door. Looked over to see my cup full of tea right where I had just picked it up. I asked my dad about it. He said he never came in my room.
Oh, that's weird.
I don't like that one. Whoa! This one's titled, I Watched a Man Teleport in Broad Daylight. I have to preface this with some backstory about a man named Zeus. Now, Zeus has a reputation around Knoxville, Tennessee, as a bit of an eccentric character.
Well, his name is Zeus.
I mean, yeah.
Yes,
he had no chance of being normal. Yeah. My brother has told me stories about him making people pass out just by whispering in their ear. What?
Ew. Is he roofing people?
Like, what's he saying?
No, he's
also walk
he's
away.
Putting drugs in people's
in your
drinks.
ear?
No, he's drugging their drinks.
I don't like this.
Guaranteed.
Okay.
Zeus.
So he's giving
Allegedly.
people, he's whispering. Zeus, don't come for us.
No.
But also giving people glass pendants and saying, this is the color of your soul. It better be pretty.
Yeah, it better be black.
Yeah.
Zeus.
He was thought of as a magic man of sorts. Well, long story short, my brother and I were walking through the West Town Mall. Ah, what a time. When we saw him, now let me tell you, this guy is incredibly recognizable. I'm talking 6'5", African dude with a gray goatee, nose piercings, and at least 4 rings per finger.
Wow.
Wow. So they're
So
heavy
much
hands.
jewelry. And he's carrying around all the amulets or
Right.
whatever for your soul.
That he just hands out. They're like inside his jacket. Oh my God. He always carried a staff.
Oh,
I love Zeus so much. And wore a floor-length black duster jacket and a huge-ass belt buckle.
Zeus.
Zeus, you're awesome.
Your wardrobe's so heavy.
I mean, really. This was Zeus. We saw him walking just a bit ahead of us, and then he turned toward an exit. Naturally, we lost sight of him for probably 60 seconds after he turned the corner and left the mall. The weird thing was, after my brother and I passed that same exit, and not more than 30 seconds later, we were coming upon another mall entrance on the other side of the mall, when all of a sudden, out pops, you guessed it, Zeus. Now, this is a big place. It takes 5 minutes to walk the length of it. There is absolutely no way he could have made it to the opposite side of the place in the time that we did. Even if he was sprinting or was somehow able to go up and over the building.
With his staff.
He like long
Full
jumped
vaults with it.
full vaults. 60 seconds is not enough time. The man teleported. There's just no other way to slice it. I just love Zeus. Can I please be Zeus?
Every town needs a Zeus.
Right? Okay, this one's, oh my God. I felt like I was trapped inside of a video game. No, you're weird. Okay, let's see here. I'm just looking to find. I found a location where people would spawn and despawn. What does despawn mean? Okay, I'll read this one and then maybe that'll be sufficient. This just happened quite recently. I was heading toward a place from a train station that was being remodeled, and there's a huge chunk that's under construction. I got a bit lost in the area, and my Google Maps was telling me that I should go through one path, but I couldn't since the whole area was basically off limits, and I should take a detour.
Google Maps.
Get your life together. This was a busy underpass with people going to the platforms, and there was one big temporary plywood wall with big signs that said, "Under construction, unauthorized access forbidden, no entry." This part got weird. That plywood wall had a plywood door.
So much plywood.
That is funny to have a plywood door. Like, did they put hinges on it? And
we would have to for it to
I know,
operate as
but
a
like,
door.
This is weird. I've never seen something, you know. And people were entering and exiting like it was a normal, busy door. Going through this plywood door. Completely normal-looking people that look like they don't belong in a construction area. Even some old woman went in through it. So then I thought that the map's working fine, and I decided to go through the door. And then it got even weirder. On the other side was just a huge, empty area, completely under construction. An area of sand, piles of gravel, pillars and construction in the distance. The edge of the underpass was completely unfinished. I was really confused since I wasn't far behind the last person who went through the door, and I had no idea where that guy had went. There was no path. It didn't seem to look like there was some path that the people could have gone. There's a big gravel road in front of me going a bit to the side, and the map was telling me to follow it. So I thought maybe I should check it out, except F no. A big Caterpillar tractor sped up along that road, and I wasn't planning to walk near that. I saw the guy in the tractor looking at me really confused. So the next thing I thought was to go back, since I shouldn't have even be here. I opened the door, and a few people walking away to the platform looked at me weirdly, like I did when I saw people entering the door. No one entered after that, though, nor when I came out. It's like how you get to Hogwarts.
Yes.
They were just going to Hogwarts,
yeah.
sir.
You were not allowed.
Yes. Okay. Well, there's lots more on here.
That was interesting.
We could go on for days. Well, thank you for listening.
Yeah. We appreciate you.
And, yeah, like, subscribe, and share.
Yeah. Get on all our stuff.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.